How's it going, everybody? Welcome to OP Entertainment. I'm Omar Darwish.
I'm Pratik Cherian.
And this is our review of Superman 2025, The Superman. Nah, just Superman, right?
Superman.
This is
probably the most anticipated movie for most movie watchers.
Yeah. We're going to go spoiler-free, so don't worry. We're not going to spoil anything. Pratik, first movie in the DCU, what'd you think?
Man, promising start. That's what I think.
Agreed.
Overall, I think my opinion of the movie is that it is good, not great. It's missing a couple things, but overall I enjoyed it more than I didn't.
What's funny is we talked a little bit off camera. I feel this movie is great, not perfect, but
Yeah.
I seem to have more gripes than you, or maybe you just haven't gotten into your gripes. But let's just talk about what works in this movie. First and foremost, David Cornsweet, he's great as Superman. I thought he was great as Superman.
I agree. I thought he did really, really well. And I thought one thing that this movie really does that I don't know that other Superman movies have done quite so well is they really place an emphasis, I thought, on Clark Kent and the humanity of Superman.
I kind of disagree.
Okay, all right.
I kind of disagree.
But going to David Cornsweet, I thought he did a really good job of making me believe the background of like never leaning too hard into like the Kryptonian or the human side like too much. I thought he did a good job of bouncing back and forth between them.
I'll say when he's like the persona of Clark, it feels like it's a persona of Clark. They gave Superman like a character, and I think that's where like you're feeling that they gave Clark a character. For me, I felt like they didn't really.
Okay,
they
yeah,
made Clark
yeah.
a persona, and they gave Superman.
I guess
the character of Clark.
I guess what I mean is yes, no, you're correct, but this is coming from like my comic book background of like Superman being grounded in Clark Kent, and like I think you're right. That's what I'm feeling is they gave Superman this character, but to me, that character is so grounded in his humanity and in the like Clark Kentness of him like all of his like him not swearing to me like and just being like kind of a big farm kid like to me really like sells that point of like this is a Superman that is so grounded in his background of like Clark Kent from Kansas.
It feels like they've heard all the criticisms of previous Supermans. They've heard what we love about previous Supermans, and they're like, all right, we got to make sure that this is a perfect balance of all of that. And I think
I think they did a really good
they
job.
succeeded. If this movie was shit, I think they could still continue on with this universe because David Cornsweet's very good as Superman.
He's excellent.
But I also thought Ben Affleck was a good Batman, and look where that went.
We're not talking about that.
We're not talking about that. Old news. Let's go. I'm gonna go character by character before we get into it. What'd you think of Lois? What'd you think of their relationship?
I really liked her, actually.
I did too. Misrepresented in the trailers. I think, honestly, everything they showed us of Lois and Clark in the trailers, it diminishes a lot of, like, how I felt going in. And then they killed their relationship. I thought it was great.
I want to see more from their relationship.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm quite as high on it as you, but I don't disagree. I thought it worked.
It just felt like a real relationship. It felt like like two real people trying to be in a relationship, and that felt good. I like that. We weren't seeing like them at the peak of their happiness, but I like where we are with them.
Yeah, it felt very, very real. The movie kind of drops us. I know we're going a little bit off just the character, but the movie kind of just drops us into this world and lets us figure it out. So like these are people that have like so we're not getting like we don't get their like first meeting, like we're just dropped in like, hey, these characters all know each other and we're going. And you're right, it very much felt like it felt like I was intruding on someone else's relationship. It felt that way. So I thought she played the cynical reporter, but also the like, hey, this is a person who loves and cares about this other person. And I thought they did a really, really good job of showing both of those sides of her throughout the movie.
Yeah, it'd be real easy for her to be unlikable, and they did a good job of making her super likable. Like, for how like you were saying, she's very like strong-headed. Like, what's the word? I don't want to say like mean-spirited in her arguments like with Clark, but not mean-spirited, but like she's not afraid to go there. Do you know what I mean?
She doesn't let him off the hook.
Yeah, but and that can come off as like unlikable, but with her character, I thought she did a great job.
I thought she was really, really good. Probably my second favorite like part of the movie.
Just her character or the relationship?
Her character.
Okay.
Just her character, her performance as Lois, I think.
I'm gonna skip Lex just because I know your favorite character was definitely Mr. Terrific, right? Mr. Terrific was
Mr. Terrific was
great.
terrific.
Yeah. I thought he was great. I don't even want to say anything about him because I want people to just kind of go into it.
Yeah.
They didn't do a ton with his character, but
I'll lump the entire Justice Gang together.
Sure.
I was really worried that would be too far.
The Justice Gang being Mr. Terrific, Green Lantern, and Hawk Girl.
Yeah. And from the trailers, I was worried that it might be too much or it would go too far. And I just thought it balanced it really well, where they were in the movie, but just enough. We're never like, they're never fully like,
it didn't feel like cameos. It felt like they were real characters, not super fleshed out.
But they weren't
like
the most important.
Yeah.
Like they weren't important characters, but they were there exactly the amount they needed to be.
It's important that we know that they exist, and so they did a good job with that. Let's get into Lex, because I feel like if your Lex doesn't work, the movie doesn't work. And I'll say this about Lex. I felt like this Lex was a perfect... Nicholas Hoult is a great actor. He's probably the best actor in this movie. He does a great job of kind of balancing the line between like Michael Rosenbaum's Lex from Smallville and Jesse Eisenberg's Lex from the previous stuff. I say that because he's kind of crazy in a way. He's psychotic in a way. He can be scary in a way. He's a little cartoony and extravagant, but not like, he never crosses the line of being too cartoony. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's never so menacing that I'm like scared of him. But they have some choices that he makes that I'm like, okay, yeah, we don't mess with this Lex, right?
Yeah.
And I said this off camera, but what I like about it is this isn't like, I'm not going to see, maybe I will, but I'm not going to see like Nicholas Holt's Lex on a t-shirt at Hot Topic. Like nobody's going to be like wearing this guy like as like, oh, he was super cool, like the Joker or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think he was a really good character. Like not somebody you want to follow, but somebody...
Not somebody that you want to follow, but in the movie he has followers, and it doesn't feel out of place that he would have followers.
Sure. I do think that there are some things he does that I'm like, that's a little dumb for a smart person like such as yourself, Lex. But minor things. So
yeah, it never goes too far in my opinion, and I think a lot of the the things that might make you just like turn your head at it happens so early in the movie too.
Yeah.
I will say
You're right.
I did think his like entire plot and plan, like by the time we get to the end of the movie, I'm just like, this is almost like too convoluted for its own good. Like
there was a particular thing, it's a spoiler, so I won't say, but something having to do with his plan that I'm like, is this just an aspect of every movie version of Lex Luthor they have to incorporate? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But won't go into it more. But it was good.
But overall, I enjoyed him more than I didn't.
Yeah, I'll say I really liked him. I think they have an opportunity to go a lot further with him. So,
sure, yeah. You know, actually, now that you say that, I think that to me that's almost like my main gripe with the movie.
Like your biggest missed opportunity?
Not Lex specifically, but just in general. I think because this movie is doing so much as far as setting up a universe, introducing us to the characters, we get dropped into this world like fully formed, and so like there's this element of us like trying to figure out what exactly is this world, this universe that we've been dropped into. And I thought that for a lot of the characters, and a lot of the plot, there's this element of like, okay, you like, there's enough here for me to figure it out, but you didn't quite flesh this out just enough. Like this, there's that with Lex, there's that with like the Lois and Clark relationship, there's that with like Superman's relationship with a couple other characters. Like there's so many things where I'm like, I wish you had just fleshed this out a little bit more.
You're right, but that being said, like I'm listening to you list all the things, like the laundry list of things that needed to be accomplished in this movie that do get accomplished. Maybe they don't get all of them accomplished to 10 out of 10 levels, but they do, like all the boxes get checked, right?
They set out to your point, like they set out to check a lot of boxes and to accomplish a lot of things with this movie. And I would say they accomplished everything they set out to accomplish. They accomplished at least adequately, but doing a lot of things adequately doesn't equal like a great movie to me.
Yeah, I think that if you get more of that, there would have to be more exposition. And that's one of my big gripes with this movie is there's a lot of exposition, and there's acceptable exposition, and then there's some exposition that's like, okay, come on, people don't talk like this. We're clearly just trying to like fill in everyone.
Again, it's kind of that aspect of like, we're trying to like get you caught up to speed because we
Right.
dropped you into the middle of an ocean and like.
But like that being said, I felt like I was dropped in the middle of an ocean and I knew where I was. I felt like I could figure out everything from there. What'd you feel about the story in general? Are there any other characters you want to get onto?
No, not really.
Because I don't really want to talk about the other characters in the movie because I didn't love the rest of the characters in the movie. I'll just say that. I'll just say that.
Fine. Oh, actually, I guess the only other character I'd mention is Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah,
Jimmy Olsen.
I was gonna say that. As I was saying, I didn't love any of the other characters. Jimmy Olsen was great. I thought he was funny. When they cast this guy, I knew he was gonna be great. I was like, oh yeah, that's Jimmy Olsen. There you go.
Yeah, he did really well. They kind of like, it's a weird character to get right, and I thought they did it well, and the actor did it well, and yeah, it worked. All right, moving forward.
Yeah, the story of this. How'd you feel about the story? Do you feel like because I feel like honestly the trailers didn't really give away what this story of this movie is.
No, it didn't, and I think one of the things that I like, having seen the movie, I think one of the things I appreciate about the trailer is all the stuff in the trailer happens like very early in the movie.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, and so again, I always ask Hollywood in general to not just show me your entire movie in the trailer, and this trailer did that.
Yeah,
so,
this year in particular has really ruined. Like, I don't want to watch trailers for anything anymore. Like Companion, Sinners, and even this to an extent. Like, didn't show everything, but there's some stuff in there that I would have been like, yeah, I would have cut the whole Lois Clark interview and just saved that.
Yeah, we're not reviewing the trailer.
Yeah,
but my point is a lot of that stuff happens early on. So, so I was really going into the story really fresh. I think, to its credit, I think it does something that's really hard to do when you're writing a Superman movie, which is like really putting him through the ringer. Like and really like, and I also felt like it did a good job of giving you the sense that he struggles with the fact that he can't save everyone, and and that being like a major thing that he wrestles with.
He tries to save everyone though.
He tries, and like that's all we want from our Superman movies, you know. Like, don't just go toppling over buildings and being like, well, it's for the greater good. So
have you gone through all your big gripes? Or
I think so. I think that's
I feel like we started talking about like what we loved, and like the gripes kind of snuck in there.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything really that I like. This movie doesn't have anything that's like damning that I'm like, oh yeah, this doesn't work. Like, this just doesn't work. Like, there's some things, minor tweaks I would make. Some things I would cut out. Some
there's definitely things
choices.
There's stuff you could improve for sure. But like, but overall, the movie works more than it doesn't.
How do we feel about James Gunn making these movies? Being the studio head and directing movies. Feel safer about him directing, maybe?
You know, I've always thought Superman was a weird choice from him. And he said this on the press tour, like, this is his first superhero movie because the Guardians are not superheroes and he's done supervillains. And, you know, I thought it was weird. But again, I think the fact that he accomplished so much, you know, I don't know that it makes me more positive for his version of like the DC universe as a whole. But I thought this one worked.
I think that this makes me more positive for sure. Like I was kind of scared like that this wasn't going to go well, and I'm happy. Like I think this movie will relieve all of your fears about like where the future of the DC.
I think you see this, and then the next time that like, hey, we're doing a DC movie, I think people will be like, well, I really like Superman, so
exactly. They'll be like, yeah, it's going to be in the same universe as that Superman movie that just came out, and people will be hyped about it. I think. So.
Yeah, I think they'll enjoy it.
Honestly, I don't think I want to say anything else about the movie. You ready to score it?
Yeah, I'm ready. Why don't you go first? Unless you really want me to go first.
All right, I'll go first. I'm thinking like high 9. I'm thinking high 9. Yeah. Because my gripes, and we talked a lot about my gripes off camera because they're mostly spoiler. They are just that. They're gripes. They're in the shadows compared to like how I feel right now. Just getting a good Superman movie, getting a good start to not just the DCU, but these studios try to build these franchises out and it never works out. The first movie will come out and it's shit and then they can't continue. I'm just so happy that we finally have a Superman movie that can spawn a universe and it's good. I like most of the characters. I like the story. The score was really good.
Yeah.
Underused, but the score was really good. David Cornsweet is great. He's Superman. I'm ready to see the next one.
I agree with you. I think I'm not as high on it as you. I'm gonna give it a 7. Like I said before, I thought it did a lot of things good.
We didn't even talk about how it was shot.
Oh, go. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. This visually beautiful. I don't know what camera they used or what lens, but completely different than anything I've ever seen. It seemed like it was shot mostly in IMAX. I didn't see a switch in aspect ratio. Beautiful. Some people are saying the CG in this isn't great. I thought the CG was awesome.
I didn't notice any like particularly bad CGI.
Maybe right in the beginning, but yeah, great.
I really liked how when they were filming the action, they really put us into the middle of the action.
Yeah.
In a way that, while not necessarily unique, felt different.
Different from most, yeah. We don't get to see these kinds of heroes fighting, like flying and power.
Yeah,
like this,
and I thought they did a really, really good job with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I give it a 7 overall. I thought it was good, not great. And I just thought they did a lot of things well, without being incredibly excellent in any one area. But I'm definitely down for whatever's coming next.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is this something you can't wait to get to the theater to watch again, or you're gonna wait for HBO Max?
No, I'm definitely gonna see it again, only because there's enough people in my life that want to see it. That I'll like, and I'm kind of saying yes to whoever wants to go.
How'd you feel pacing wise? Because I felt like this movie was really well paced.
Yeah, I think in the beginning I thought it was moving a little too fast, but overall, yeah, I thought it was well paced.
All
All right. Nothing from us next week, but then
the week after that, hopefully an even better superhero movie with Fantastic Four. So we'll see you guys.
See ya.